Okay, it's part 2 of our Battle Droid build, continuing on with the base half in foam. Let's go. Alright, so here's our complete build, obviously minus the paint. So our legs are done now. Added in all the little details just using a soldering iron and a bit of a foam dowel. And just cut certain bits with the Stanley blade, opened it up with the heat gun. You can see the legs have that wooden board just running through it again, just to help it be a little bit more sturdy. He won't stand under his own power. He will need a stand, but it won't need a very complex one. It will just be a stand that literally just holds underneath here just to take the weight of the body, but he will be able to stand up to the point that the legs won't flop about when he's on the stand, which was the important bit. Obviously we've got the nut and bolt going through there as the knee joint. Trusty Pringles tube we used for the hip joint. It just moves like that, so I haven't actually glued the ends on. So obviously this will be stuck here, so it'll stop the legs actually sliding off, because I'm going to take them off and paint the legs separate to the body just to help just get in all the sort of undercuts. It's just easier to paint him when he's not a full thing. Obviously I can't take the arms off because they're glued in place. So they're glued underneath, so I can't take the arm joint out. There's just a couple more details done with the soldering iron. I added a couple little sort of bolts just using the actual screw that's in the soldering iron that holds the tip on. Actually, you can't quite see it in this light. If I can find one, there you can kind of see it looks like a little screw effect in there, so hopefully that will be brought out when it's painted. I'm not sure what they call this bit, just like the hip skeleton part, just using a cardboard tubing from the inside of a cling film wrap. So that's nice and easy, bit of thin foam for the detail. So he's not an extremely complex build in terms of detail, but it's a real faff to build something fairly big. Obviously this is not the biggest droid I've ever made, but I think he's better size-wise than K2 was to the original K2SO. My one was a bit big. I think this guy's alright. He's pretty tall, he's a lot taller than me. But yeah, I'm actually fairly pleased with how he's looking so far. I wasn't sure when I was just doing the top half, but now we actually have a full body, and he's not 100% perfect, but he's looking pretty cool. And I reckon once we paint him, he will really stand out, and I think he'll make a really nice addition to the collection. So obviously before we start painting, everything's got to be primed. So I've very just gently gone over all the foam areas with a heat gun to make sure it's all sealed. So now I've got to go over everything with plaster dip, and I'm thinking of doing lots of blue trim on this one. I had a look online to see what kind of ranks you can get for battle droids, and there was one which I think is a scout, which has quite a bit of blue trim on it, so make him look a little bit more different to the rest. And we're going to try giving some weathering with an airbrush, because I need a little bit more practice before I do that with the Mandalorian costume, so this is what we're going to use it for. the blue on, taking off all the latex, so we got some of the chipped effects. And now we're going to do the weathering, because there's some overspray with the blue. Obviously that's going to happen, you're still spraying on paint, and yeah, still kind of getting used to how the paint gun works. So now we're going to go over it with some weathering and just seeing how I can weather with an airbrush, see how well I can do that. So I'm probably going to go over certain patches with like maybe a rusty looking brown kind of colour, and then go over it with a black and just see how that comes out. So there you go, there is our full battle droid, currently sitting very happily in my seat. I'm going to move him over to the sofa, because I need this for sitting and building stuff. I don't know if I've gone a little bit overboard with the airbrushing, but honestly that was quite fun to do, and I think it's just kind of given him a new lease of life, because I wasn't entirely sure if I liked the build when I was kind of halfway through it. At the end of the first one I wasn't entirely happy with it. He's rough around the edges, but you know what, for something like this, I'm not too worried. He's going to be a nice little prop that sits in here. I've missed having a droid in the workshop, so I've always loved the B-Ron battle droids, and it's smaller than K2SO, so it's not going to take up as much room, which is good. And he has been branded with a name. His name is Clank. I was going to call it Roger, but everyone calls their battle droids Roger. They were cooler before they learned how to talk properly. So there you go, I hope you enjoyed this build. Apologies for the delay in getting it out. I am back to the day job now, so there's gonna be a slight delay with some videos with builds, because obviously I now have less time to work on stuff. But if you want to help me fulfill my dream of not having to work a job like that and actually doing prop building full time, you can support me on Patreon, because Patreon people are lovely. Especially Jeff Kenny, who's supposed to have his name shouted out on my videos. Links to my Patreon are always at the end of my videos and the description down below. You're going to get behind the scenes pictures and videos of any builds I do, especially with the bigger ones that are gonna be coming up. There's always something coming up. I don't stop making. It's kind of an addiction. So my lovely patrons help me fund builds like this, and like I said, would be something I'd like to do full time. So maybe even if there's a prop shop out there somewhere in the UK, in England, and might like to hire someone like me who is so willing to learn new things and wants to be able to make stuff full time. Hey, just putting it out there into the universe, please. Hire me. But of course, you don't ever have to do that. I'll always be putting my videos up here for you guys to see. So if you like what you see, subscribe. Take a look at some of the stuff I've already got out on this channel. Share the videos with friends if you think they're going to be interested in this, and if you want to find out what I'm doing elsewhere, my social medias are all linked down below as well. Share with friends if you think they're going to like stuff like this, and if you want to find out what I'm up to when I'm away from the workshop, my social media are down in the links below. And you can also find me on TikTok now. A few people have found me there. Ace Cosplay, you'll find me. So thanks for watching, take care, and as always, may the Force be with you.